All still getting there. I can see 1, 2, the Jeep one coming around well. She'll put it down, but pick it up.
Hi everyone, John McLeod from Macbet. Just going to go over how we played the last weekend and what we thought were some black bookers come out of the meeting and who went good and who went bad. I thought the track played pretty good. You can see our bias down here before. This is with our sheets. We thought the inside lane was going to be not too good, and just a little bit, probably the 3, 4, 5 lane was the right place to be. And I think now it was pretty much exactly right. You just wanted to be just a little bit off the fence. If you got fairway out, you know, there wasn't that big an advantage, you know, as it is on the 3, 4, 5 lane, I thought. So the first race was won by this How Wonderful Life Is. You know, it was pretty short. It did a pretty good job. You can see the sectionals, they went pretty fast, and they got home better than you would have expected for the speed. Now, I think this could be a little bit out, the sectionals of this race, so I'm not going to take too much notice of that last sectional. I think it was slower than what it's shown, because a couple of horses like King of Desert and All Shiraz made up a fair bit of ground on How Wonderful Life Is. So I'm sort of putting a line through the sectionals of that race. We didn't bet in that one, but Our Wonderful Life did, you know, it did a good job to win. It didn't beat much though, that's the only thing. Second race, what did we do? I had something on Hold the Line, just because I didn't have too much on this. I had it actually fairly short, or I had it shorter than the $1.70 at one stage, but as I said on the audio, we were very concerned at the distance. It had raced over the 1200 on a wettish track last time in. I think it was at Caloundra, and it loomed up to win, and it didn't go on with it. So the distance was a real worry for me, but I just thought it was going to get a lovely run just parked in behind him, and if he just sort of waited and came out, I thought he might have just sprinted a little bit too quick for this lot, and he just had to work a bit. He got pushed out wider by a horse on the corner. I think it was Yernar that no, it was Bring It Home Pop that pushed him wider on the corner. He loomed to win, and then the 1200 wet track just you know, seen him out. So he sort of was run down by Sophie's Gold Class, who was flying. I didn't really like Sophie's Gold Class, so I thought it trialled okay, but I just thought the way the race was going to be run, she was going to give him too much start, but she was still able to do it. Sectional wise, I was sort of putting a line through this race with sectionals. I don't think they went as good as that, so I've put a line through that race. The next race, here we see it, they've gone out very slow and got home okay. I think that was pretty much what it was, because Pick and Plum was able to get up on the speed. Ocean Addict, I think one of the guys on the Q&A program on Saturday morning said, I think Ocean Addict might be able to take up a more forward position. He was right. I had him back in the field, or I had her back in the field, you know, but she got to probably around the 3 mark. So, you know, if I move her, I think I had it $11. If I move her up to around the 3 mark where she was, you know, she was a $4.70 shot. She was well backed. She was, you know, I think it was about $10 in to about $6.50. So a few people actually thought the same thing, that she would race a lot closer, and she did. So that was a race where we lost. Yeah, I had something on Dashing Champagne Vega, Dashing Special, and I threw something on Stardome, because I thought these two horses were going to get in the right position, but as it turned out, Ocean Addict got into the right position, so that was a pain. Next race, there was no real black bookers out of the race. Next one, this is a race we were pretty keen on, Milkman, but I missed the price. What I did, I put had a bet on Top Prospect at the 20. So you can see I had 300 at $21, and then I thought, God, I don't want to lose on Milkman. I know it's short enough now, but don't want to lose on it, so I just backed it to more or less break square. The sectionals of the race, they didn't go very fast, and they sprinted home. So what looks like the Milkman had the perfect run, and you know, it wasn't as good a win as what you'd expect. I think he still went quite good. The sectionals that they ran, he couldn't do much more than what he did, and the Top Prospect's a really good wet tracker. So they put a gap on the rest of the field, and I think Milkman again, I'm happy to be on it next time, on a dry or just a bit of a sting out of the track. I think it can run some pretty good sectionals, this horse, and it's going to be hard to beat again. So it was a horse, I haven't black booked it, but I do want to be on it again. Next race, I thought the speed was pretty good here, and they didn't get home real good, which is pretty much what you expected from this type of quality of horse. The actuary came through the middle of the pack and got them down. I really couldn't have it, but I didn't really want to play in the race. I didn't know what to think about Cosmic Gossip getting back in the field. I was trying to work out where the best part of the track was, whether it was up on the speed off the fence. That's what I was thinking at this stage. And my two horses, Sea Marie and Cosmic Gossip, were going to be back. So I thought I went to water and stayed out of it, which was lucky for me. As far as the sectionals go, nothing really stood out. You expected Sea Marie and Cosmic Gossip to get home, which, with that last sectional being 7 lengths below average, which they did. But they went to the line just fair. They hit the line fair to okay the last bit, but they had to. Next race, this is a race of Black Book Mayosi, just because they didn't go very fast. They went out 1 length slower than average, but they got home quite, okay. In Mayosi, it gave them probably 5 to 6 lengths start entering the straight and ran on all right. So I think she went quite good. She's a trier, and I'm happy to be on it next start. You can see what we did. We had something on Bentley Magic. I saved on Mayosi, and I threw a little bet on Stylish Saga. I wasn't sure about the wet with it. I was sort of sitting on the fence with it, but Bentley Magic, it was a chance. We pretty much got the pace of the race wrong here. I thought Liability and Shijin would go along, which they didn't. And to my, I should have woken up that Byrne was on Liability, and so he's not going to actually go up and annoy the other thing. He's going to be happy enough to sit in behind it, and that's what he did. So the pace of the race came back to probably around 4, which made Shijin, come in a little bit closer to our market. It made it harder for Mayosi to win. But I was quite happy to be on Bentley Magic, no matter how the speed is. It was going to get into the right spot. It was going to be tucked in behind him, and it was going to be hitting the line, and it did. One stage there, I thought it was going to win. I just put that back to what I thought it was. Next race, the speed of the race was quite good. You can see they went 4 lengths fast, and they got home fairly slow. So it was, this race is not much good, or not real good. Say Harahaya, I didn't think I'd get the distance. There's been a couple of horses there today that I was right with question marks at the distance, but there's a few I was wrong with it, and this was one of them that I was concerned at the distance. They took the blinkers off, which helped it get the distance, and the speed of the race just suited it. Tucked in behind and back here somewhere, it was a bit closer actually. These horses were all scratched, and it hit the line. There was nothing really that was really chasing. The Prezi went too hard, and this horse was fairly well backed. Roasted, I said on the audio that I may need one more run. I think that's the case. He was a bit flat though, and I would have hoped he would have been finishing off a little bit better than what he did, especially the way the speed of the race went on. So he was disappointing, I would say, Roasted, even though he was second up. Next race, race 8, they went about even, but they didn't get home real fast. So this race isn't that crash hot either. We backed Roman Aureus and Genuine L. You can forgive Genuine L. Went around the middle of the track. It was sort of like an experience for it. Stephanie Lacey just got lost. She didn't know what to do. Come out a little bit slower at the barriers, and she was in no man's land. Roman Aureus got the perfect run, got the split, and just didn't really go on with it. That was, pretty ordinary run by it. I thought it had the chance. Stuttering did a good job. Sat 3 wide on a track where maybe it was better to be off the fence, in the run. But it was still okay. It was still a pretty good win, a solid win. Naval Strike got too far back. Like we were saying in the audio, it's probably going to get too far back, but it will be running on. It did run on, but it got beaten a mile. So I think we knocked off 800 on that race. Then we came to the last. This was an interesting race. Speed of the race was quite good, and they didn't get home very fast. Now, I would have thought that would have been perfect for Ozark and Sharp Hustler. Ozark, he tried to hold a spot, which I didn't find any problem with at all. It was pretty good actually. But then he probably just overdid it a bit. He rode it nearly the whole way around, and the horse made ground out wide. But I think if he would have, in hindsight, if he would have left it alone a little bit early, he would have been hitting the line good. So I'm sort of forgiving that horse's run. I think his sectionals were good last start. This one, he just he overcooked it, but I can't complain about the ride, because I thought he got into the right spot, but he just worked a bit too hard through that sectional. Panino went quite good. No luck in the straight. It probably would have won, that horse, if it would have got the run. Jade and Tom, was 3 wide, I think, just working a bit, but with a little bit of cover, I think. There was just the horse in the right spot. Sharp Hustler was disappointing. He probably didn't handle the wet, that horse. You see what we did over here. So all in all, we had not a very good day. But horses to follow, you can forgive Panino. You can forgive Genuine L when it goes back to a Class 1 or something like that at Caloundra. I think it's going to be very hard to beat. Then you go back to Mosey. You can bet with a bit of confidence with that horse. And I think the Milkman is another one that I haven't black booked, but it's close to one that you can be on that as well. That's about all from me. Hopefully, I don't know what the meetings are this week. We had a bit of a win at Caloundra yesterday. We backed our best bet won, so that was quite good. But it was a bit of a tough day. A few things went wrong with our audio and everything. But anyway, the Milkman, the meeting was quite a good day, just because of race 4. We had a good bet on it. So anyway, that's all from me. We'll catch you next week.